On this episode, we're installing a diesel heater into our tiny cabin.
Gonna void my warranty. Drilling.
I didn't quite think that one through. Somebody else is not happy either.
Yeah.
Awesome. As you can see, we're back at the tiny cabin. It is a brisk -1, but it's a beautiful day. It is really nice. The goal for this weekend is to install a diesel heater into our bunkie, into our tiny cabin. And the reason we're going to do that is so we can spend more time up here during the colder months. The actual diesel heater itself, I built into a small cabinet so we can attach it on the outside of the bunkie. One of the challenges that I was kind of predicting was that with all the snow on the ground is obviously going to be very hard. I'm going to have to dig out a little bit of the surrounding dirt so I've got enough space to put the diesel heater in. But I didn't quite anticipate how frozen it was going to be. Check this out. Yep, that is solid ice. So that has kind of slid off the roof of the tiny cabin. It's landed on the ground and it's frozen. The reason we're going to put a diesel heater in is because we do have a propane heater, but it consumes a lot of propane. The diesel heater, like the one we have on the truck tent, has been phenomenal, and it really does put a lot of heat out, efficiency-wise, for the amount of diesel that it uses. So that's why we've gone with the diesel heater. We're also going to be putting in like a little wood-burning stove, like a cubic mini wood-burning stove, and we've got one of those with us, but it needs a little bit more work to set it up. So we're going to do that next weekend when we come back. So if you want to see that, tune into the next episode. This ice on the ground reminds me of a movie that my dad used to watch all the time.
Ice Station Zebra.
It's an old movie, and it was about this agency that had to go and recover a downed military satellite, and it crashed in the Antarctic or the Arctic. And so they get there and they find it, and it's underneath the ice. And they're sat there with blowtorches trying to melt the ice before the Russians arrive to steal the satellite. It was a pretty good movie. I remember watching that with my dad. It was really cool. But that's what this reminds me of. I've got to melt the ice to dig this hole. I might actually be in luck. The box that I built to hold the diesel heater only protrudes 18 inches from the back of the tiny cabin, which thankfully is just this lip right here. So that means that all I have to deal with is just that tiny bit there, not all of this. Yes?
Got some good news for you.
Good news. Oh, I love good news. Oh.
You're missing black pants?
No, those are actually the old ones that are too small.
Yeah.
But in other related news, I did actually find my black pants. They were at home in the garage. I brought them with me.
Okay.
I should probably put them on.
Yeah. I was all excited then, and I was like, yeah, solved the mystery.
Thank you, though. I appreciate you looking for them. Not only is the ground incredibly frozen, we're also up against a time crunch. Right now, it's about 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. Tonight, the temperature is going to drop down to about -10. So if I don't get this diesel heater installed before nightfall, it is going to be really, really cold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shell off the top. So just have the base, and I can see if the base fits. I can get the base all level up. Oh no.
What?
I need to get to a screw that's behind this block of wood that I screwed in from the outside.
So just unscrew that?
I can't because it's screwed in from the outside and I covered it with the paneling.
Oh, good job.
One of the things I'm going to do to try and make this last a little bit longer is use some of this butyl tape that we added around the base of the bunkie to give it a bit of weatherproofing on the bottom, because this isn't pressure treated wood, it's just made from scraps that I had at home. Oh no! Damn it. Oh. It's now lunchtime. I've been at this for 2 hours, and the most painful part of it, or what I anticipated was to be the most painful part, is done. We've got the foundation for the little diesel heater hutch all configured. It's anchored, it's secured, and it's pretty solid. So I'm pretty happy with that. Well, now the sun's been out for like 3 hours. You know when an ice rink melts? You see puddles of water everywhere on top of ice? That's what I'm having to deal with now. I've been told that some of the people who work at Bunkie Life, the place where we actually got our little bunkie from, actually watch our channel, which is phenomenal. So, hey Bunkie Lifers.
Look at what you gave us!
Look at what you gave us. Look at this thing, it's awesome. Just ignore this little bit here. I'm really sorry about this. This was an accident. I'm going to fix it, and it's going to be covered. But I still feel really guilty about smacking it with a pickaxe this morning. Oops. Somebody else is not happy either. So, all right, we are ready to lift this in now.
Oh, does that mean my help?
If you don't mind.
Well, there's a lot of ice around here.
I know, it's still really...
Pickaxe some of it, a little bit, just to break it up.
It's not as easy as that. Okay, so we need to lift it over onto there. When it's close, we need to open the door, and there's a couple of holes there that I have to line up. Okay. Okay, can you lift it up at all? So what we're going to do is we're going to anchor the diesel heater cabinet to the back of the bunkie. And one of the things that I thought of when I was doing this, what we don't want to happen is the cabinet essentially holding so many logs together, and then one end settles, and then the top ones above the cabinet cannot settle with it because of the way it's all anchored together. So what we've done is we've actually cut some slots, some very ugly and untidy slots that we're going to use to anchor through into the bunkie wall. And that means that if the bunkie starts to settle and we start seeing gaps in the logs because it's being pushed by this cabinet, we can just slacken them off, wait for it to resettle, and then retighten them up inside those slots. So that's why we have slots there. I don't know how I'm going to get to that one. I didn't quite think that one through. Now the bunkie walls are just over 1 1/4, so between 1.5 and 1 1/4 inches thick. The frame of this thing is 1.5, and these bolts themselves are only 2.5. So I shouldn't have any issue with them going through the wall. You know, it is really hard trying to find somewhere for you guys to sit while I do this. I did not plan how tight this was going to be to work in. Alright, so we've got a nice, oh, there's my shadow, hello! We've got a nice seam going all the way down there, nice and tight. Same on the other side. Oh, bit of foam sticking out there. Oh, well, that is nice and solid. Excellent. I am thrilled. Next step is we have to drill a hole in the side of the bunkie to put the air hose through. All right. Don't try this at home, kids. Hey, quick question for the guys at Bunkie Life. Does drilling holes in the side of my bunkie void the warranty? Start it like that. Then go to the other side and drill through. Oh, I hope there's not a screw here. Oh, no screw. Must have been the knot. Hello! Now obviously I want to try and make this look as pretty as I can inside. So I picked up one of these dry vents. I had mouse push this through the wall, and I managed to mark on it where the wall is and where the end of the ducting elbow will be. So now we can just trim this to length, slide it on, and we also have a smaller hose that came with the diesel heater. I'm going to be putting that one on inside of this, and then we're going to be using some rock wool to insulate it. Around the vent here. So I'm just going to use some more tape on this side. I would use caulking, but I don't have any heat resistant caulking. Hopefully this will see out any drafts and any critters that may want to try and work their way in. Before we test it, I'm just going to plug in the air intake, which just goes into that little tube there. This is a tube that I added just to try and feed the air intake a little bit higher and away from the diesel exhaust, which is on the side there. So while I'm here, let me give you a quick tour of what I did. We have the gas tank, or the diesel tank, here on the door. And the reason I put it on the door was actually make it a little bit easier to fill. Well, that was my thinking anyway. Rather than having it tucked inside and have to struggle with kind of getting a funnel or something in there, my thought of putting it on the door means that you can open the door, undo the cap, and then fill it up here and then close it up. We'll see how well that works. Down the bottom here, we've got the fuel line that comes out through the fuel filter, goes all the way through into the fuel pump, and then that goes up and into the diesel heater. We have the cold air line in. That goes in here, that heats up the air in the middle and then pushes it into the bunkie through the air outlet, and then we have the exhaust running out the side here. Now what I did for this was I actually purchased on Amazon, and I'll put the link below. It's one of these like an exhaust outlet. It's meant for marine boats, so it's meant for if you're running this diesel heater on a boat, you can fit it to the outside of the boat, and it comes with a couple of gaskets and things like that, so you can have a waterproof seal. And it's not going to be melting, hopefully. You're a fiberglass boat. So I use that, and you can see it exits the cabinet here. So I bent it to 90 degrees, and I put a little bracket there and put the muffler on the end there. Now, the other thing you'll notice is just right here in the join, what I did was I grabbed, I went to the dollar store and I grabbed some metal mesh filters that you meant to put in like in your drain of your sink to catch all the food waste and stuff, so it doesn't go down the sink, so that we're not going to get any bugs crawling through the muffler and into the diesel heater, which could, I don't know, it may start a fire, or it may just toast them. It'd be very, very hot anyway. And then yeah, on the other side here we have the air intake, which I need to actually put the filter on. Let's go and get that. Ta-da. And what I did here was, because I've got a plastic plastic elbow, I just took a small chunk of the other hose, so that we can actually, when we put it in, it'll just hopefully just anchor it in place a little bit better. So next step is I want to put my heat shield in. Actually no, I need to vacuum that out. Then I'm going to put the heat shield in, and then the battery, then we can test it. Still got to do the control panel. But let's test it first. Okay. Where did I put the controller? Do you want to hold the controller?
Sure, I'm just worried about stepping anywhere near because I go on my butt. Okay.
Right. Connect the power.
I'm going to get electrocuted.
You're not going to get, it's only 12 volts. It's not, you could lick this and you'd be alright.
Yeah, you're one of those kids that licked batteries, aren't you?
Only 9 volts. That's how you know when they're charged. Yeah, we got power. Alright, that's good. That's good. We have some diesel in there, so that's...
It's working!
It's working! Alright, so now it goes through its startup sequence, and it'll feed some diesel into the heater chamber. And if you go inside, you should be able to start feeling hot air in about 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll have to give you this then.
Right.
Oh, look at the state of this. Look, I can draw my name. Messy workman. Where's that Milwaukee vacuum you boast about?
My awesome Milwaukee vacuum. I think secretly she loves Milwaukee too, so... Oh. Yeah, I can hear it going.
It's getting easier.
Is it spicy enough for you?
No, not yet. Oh, it's getting there. Now the warmers.
Now you got heat.
There you go. Now we're getting toasty. So I'm assuming this isn't going to stay like this.
No, what I'm going to do is trim off the excess.
Oh, we start to heat up nicely now. Sorry, carry on.
Trim up the excess that's just inside the hole. We'll fit the flaps in over the front of it, just so it looks prettier. And then I've tested it and they'll open when it blows through. So what I need to do now is drill a hole so I can put the control panel wire through.
How are you plugging that hole?
Well, I'm going to do it from inside the little cabinet. So hopefully that won't... I'm going to try and make it the width of the wire. It means I'm going to have to cut the wire because the connector is way too big. Otherwise I'll have to do a hole like an inch big to get it through. I had a friend of mine ask me, why am I putting a diesel heater into the bunkie when we're also putting a stove there, or a log burner? And the big reason why is because I really want to have at least 2 sources of heat if we're here in the winter. Even with the little, even with the stove that Mouse has got that she's setting up, once we get that installed, because it takes such small logs, you've got to feed it throughout the night. So I want to be able to make sure that if we need instant heat, we can just press a button. We've had a lot of success with the diesel heater in the truck when we use the truck tent. Keeps you very warm even in like -1, -2. The bunkie isn't that big, so putting it outside in a little cabinet means that it's like a little maintenance shack that's outside, and it's not going to take up more extra space on the inside of the bunkie. Drilling my holes in my bunkie, drilling, drilling, gonna void my warranty, drilling, drilling. And the reason that I'm going to cut this is because I don't want to make a huge hole inside the bunkie, or another huge hole. I just want to be able to feed this controller through, because the controller has a thermostat and can control the diesel heater. Okay, now we have to get them rejoined. Alright, next let's put the heat shield back in. Alright, now I can plug this back in. Right, can you do me a favour? Mm-hmm. Can you take these fine people inside? Mm-hmm. Connect up this to the, it's a one way, it'll only go one way, to the thing inside, and then knock on the thing when you're done. I'm going to plug the battery on. I need you to tell me if it lights up. See if I broke it.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, do you want me to go get you some ropes?
Nah, I just need to make a couple of cuts. Isn't there? Ta-da!
Is the air actually coming out there?
Alright, well, it's coming down actually. I may see the flaw in my plan. Looks awesome. Ah. Let's come back to that idea later. Let's give you a quick tour of what it looks like now with the little roof on. That's it. There we go. I think that looks pretty good for a little cabinet made out of scrap wood, leftover parts, and a diesel heater. Good morning. That was probably the best night's sleep I've had in a long time. The diesel heater itself performed absolutely great. It was about -1, -2 here last night. The diesel heater kept the bunkie at a good, nice, solid 14 degrees throughout the night, and that was set on level 1. And I cranked it up to level 3, I think level 4, and it took it up to about 18, 19 degrees. So that was pretty good. And then I cranked it up to maximum level 6, max heat, and yeah, I think the bunker is about 22 degrees inside now, which is really nice. But let's go see how much diesel it actually used overnight. We turned on the heater last night around 5 p.m. and so 8 a.m., which is kind of about now, we'll have a look and see how much it's actually used in the past 15 hours. All right. So you can see that's the mark I made yesterday when I filled it up, and so it's used just about here. When I checked this a couple of minutes ago, we were kind of around here. So it's used about this much diesel fuel overnight for the 15 hours, which is not too bad. So that means I should be able to get at least three nights out of this heater when it's full. Interestingly, the fuel pump, you can hear it ticking away there. Outside, it's not too bad. When the door is closed, you can't really hear it. Inside, it echoes through the bunkie. So you can hear this tick, 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 or thudding all night long. What I might try and do is see if we can put some sort of dampener on that. So we'll see you on the next episode where Mouse is going to go through a brand new cubic mini stove, and then we might look at installing that into the bunkie. See you next time.
What am I supposed to do?
You got this.